Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to the evening edition of the Lum-chan Chronicles. Tonight, I'll be discussing the nature of localizations and why I don't like them. Do you remember in the 90s those old Hong Kong action films and how it was pretty much guaranteed the VHS tape would only have some poorly done dub that Americanized everything right down to the names? Or how Viz did something similar around the same time with the Ranma dub to hilarious results. Too far back for some of you? Okay. How about in the Dragon Ball Z anime, how they changed all the attack names, made up weird lines, and changed all the names? Still too far back? Take a look at these Nagatoro screenshots. This was only a few years ago. This type of practice, inserting whatever meme or text you want into translation, is nothing new. Every time I'm reminded of this, I can only think of how Viz made Piccolo sound like he was in a Shakespearean play. It strikes me as odd how this seems to be a problem almost completely confined to the Anglosphere. Latin America doesn't have this problem. In fact, they frequently mock Americans and Canadians over it. The French don't have this issue, and you know what? Neither do our friendly neighborhood Germans. America has always been big on censorship. Whether it was 4Kids removing any sign of witchcraft from Hashi no Kabi, anything vaguely Japanese sounding being removed from Pokemon due to xenophobia, which is why so many Pokemon have different names in English, and even in 2022 censoring the breasts of a milky goddess in Pocky and Rocky Reshined, and also keeping the Pocky and Rocky name despite neither character actually being named that. Now, some silly people on the Zitter would have it that this is tantamount to seasoning your food. Don't worry, I'm as confused as you are on that one. I cook a lot, and I'm really good. My dad's always told me that I should open a food truck and knock the others out of business. I'm the type that will always make her own sauce from scratch, and I'll make the best damn cheese-filled meatballs you've ever had. Personally, I love some Johnny's and MSG, or if we're talking fresh Alaskan salmon, then some dill and a bit of salmon seasoning. I digress. This is a really weird, if not outright stupid analogy to me as someone who reads in Japanese and enjoys cooking. To me, this entire argument boils down to, round these parts in America, we dump the whole salt and basil shaker with some added dried oregano on the steak, honey. We don't need none of that there Chinese MSG cartoons. Tell you what are you, 2 scoops short of a full milkshake? I digress. This whole idea seems to misunderstand how Japanese works. To chill out more consumer drek, maybe? Well, I won't speculate too much. So, Japanese isn't a tonal language like Chinese. People will, however, confuse that with the nature of intonation and pitch still factoring in as much as the context does. Let's take the phrase yada yada, for example. I'm sure pretty much every anime fan is familiar with this phrase. It's a really common Japanese expression, and it was popularized by JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in the Anglosphere as yada yada daze. This can translate to a multitude of different things, especially when maybe the daze is dawa, dana, or dayo. Oh boy, good grief, give me a damn break. Well. The way this is said and the setting will influence what it means. There's your seasoning, chronically on Twitter lady. You don't need to talk about being sus or doing a derp, whatever that means. Junanago, aka number 17, uses this before his fight with Piccolo. He's basically saying, well, as the subs accurately tell us. He is amused that Piccolo has improved so much over the past few days, as he's unaware he merged with God to fight the Bugman. Japanese is a really fun language to learn with a ton of nuances. I think it would be prudent for fans to give it a shot rather than relying on other people. Learning a new language will always open up a host of new opportunities for you. It's a really healthy and productive thing to do that's conducive of success. This is rather common for people to do in Europe, where knowing a second language is almost a given. I have an interest, as you may have gleaned, about Hong Kong cinema, which has prompted me to learn a little bit of Cantonese when I used to have more friends in Hong Kong. However, it's much more difficult than Japanese and not quite as appealing. So I can very much so understand those that are not willing to pursue Japanese just for a bunch of entertaining cartoons or books. Perhaps you may be better off learning Spanish, French, or Italian, which are arguably a bit easier, and reading their translations instead. But if you care about source material integrity, aren't a fan of role-playing One Piece in real life, and don't want to pursue another language, I guess you're going to be stuck with stuff like the whole lovely complex situation. Best of luck, Mindweaves!